Thank you so much for having me here today. I am so honored to have been asked to be here to speak with all of you. Madam Chair Kathy Rapp and Chairman Dan Frankel and the members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to present testimony concerning fetal development and public policy. I have been invited to address the topic of fetal development from the perspective of a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist whose primary concern is the health and well-being of my patients. My comments are limited to my personal experience and opinions in regard to my specialty. I practice general obstetrics and gynecology in Abington, PA, and I have almost 13 years in practice following residency training and a history of serving women from diverse economic and cultural backgrounds in the Philadelphia and Abington areas. Many years ago, at the onset of my medical career, I took an oath to maintain the utmost respect for human life. Every physician made the same promise during their white coat ceremony as they joined the ranks of physicians in training. I hope that we as physicians can recall and return to this grave task of defending all life from conception to natural death. Throughout my career, there have been many life and death moments where the decision of whether to continue care and intervention was rooted on the presence of a heartbeat. I experienced this in the last moments of my own grandmother's life, where my father held her hand and cried tears of sadness as her heartbeat slowly faded away. With the flat line on the monitor, we knew that she had moved on. I experienced the joy of the new heartbeat as a physician that helps infertile couples grow their families. As we check for signs of life with early obstetric ultrasound, just 4 to 5 weeks after conception, we are so thrilled to see the flicker of a heartbeat on the ultrasound screen. Where there is a heartbeat, there is hope. Every obstetrics and gynecology textbook that I have ever read states that the earliest step in each human life is that of fertilization. The singular moment in time when one sperm wins out the race out of millions of others to join with that particular egg and begin a new life. This new being with its own set of unique DNA begins the process of cell division. As this cell rapidly divides, it is called a blastocyst. Even at this early stage, this 8 to 12 cell structure that is present 3 days after fertilization is releasing signals and chemicals that will improve its chances for implantation and for survival. According to the 5th edition of Clinical Gynecologic Endocrinology and Infertility by Speroff, the embryo is capable of pre-implantation signaling, which increases the estrogen and progesterone levels available to it from its mother. 5 to 7 days after fertilization, implantation occurs. As early as 7.5 days after fertilization, the inner cell mass is differentiated into primitive ectoderm and an underlying layer of endoderm. These layers ultimately become the organs, and structure develops into the umbilical cord is also formed at this time. By about the 17th day, fetal blood vessels are functional and placental circulation is established. At 21st day following fertilization, this new creation is first called an embryo. Typically, this is the time women realize they have missed a period. The chemical HCG is present, the embryonic disc is well defined, the body stalk that I just mentioned before is also well differentiated. In the 4th week after fertilization, the chorionic sac is 2 to 3 centimeters in diameter. The embryo is 4 to 5 millimeters in length. Partitioning of the primitive heart begins in this week. This is that magical moment when the early heart begins to beat. True circulation is established between the embryo and the chorionic villi. Arm and leg buds are present as well at this time in the 4th week. In the 6th week after fertilization, the embryo is 22 to 24 millimeters in length. The head is quite large in comparison to its trunk. The heart is completely formed. Fingers and toes are present. Arms bend at the elbows. The upper lip is complete, and the external ears are beginning to form. In the 8th week after fertilization, we are entering the fetal period. This being is now called a fetus. It is 4 centimeters long. Most of its major body structures, except the lungs, are already formed. This young human being just needs time to grow. It needs protection. It is deserving of love and of care. I hope that this testimony fills each of you with wonder and awe at the beautiful, complex, and unbelievable process that occurred in the earliest weeks of your lives. I call on you as lawmakers to consider this knowledge and perspective as you make public policies that affect each member of the human race, especially the youngest and most vulnerable preborn humans who are so deserving of our protection. Thank you all for your time, and God bless you.